Today we have another one-day banger in. Hopefully not a big day either. Something kind of small. A flower and a butterfly, sunflower more specifically, and a peacock butterfly. That was the request. Let me show you the design. Small, simple. It's going on the forearm, so something kind of like that placement, I imagine. We've got a lot of orange going on with the peacock butterfly, but that was a very specific request. So I thought we need to contrast against the yellows and oranges. And I figured why not do a little splash of blue paint in the background just to make it pop forward a little more. One for the ladies, I think, today. Shouldn't take too long. Hopefully, if the skin's good, we should be able to smash this out within about 4 or 5 hours. We'll see, but I'm notorious for not having a clue how long anything actually takes. We seem to be doing a lot of these one-dayers. They're actually getting a bit fun. Enjoy. Let's get straight to it. I've been using blue grit wrap this whole year. I think it's time we make a change. Let's switch things up a bit, shall we? Red for Christmas. This is a disposable grip, by the way, so I'm not even going to bother wrapping that. I'm back on the inkjector, guys. I was saying this last video. Nostalgia. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because it's Christmas. Watching old movies. Using old tattoo machines. Doing some good work. It's not about the machine. It's about what you can do with it. Eh? Beepity boop boop boop. If anyone is interested in knowing exactly what equipment I'm using, like the stroke, the voltage, needles, everything like that, then make sure you check out the pinned top comment, or there's a link in the description as well. It's to my school community. It's free to join, and there is a free to watch full breakdown. I run through absolutely everything that I use. It's easier if I just explain it to you over there rather than going on about it every single YouTube video, because not all of my YouTube followers are actually tattooists. They're just here for the ride and they're interested in what I'm doing. So rather than boring them, go check that out. Secret sauce. The secret sauce. Oh, so smooth and buttery and delicious. Look at this. Whoop, whoop. I just need to get some stickers made, and we have different pots. We've ordered these nice dark green pots. Once we've got some stickers made, bang them on there. Maybe I'll do a limited run. Can get yourself some. Hokey cokey, artichokey. What else do we need? What else do we need? These drawers are a mess. I don't know where anything is. Aha. I've got too much stuff. Too many boxes and needles. Honestly, I don't know where to put anything. I need a little elf to come in and just tidy up for me. That would be great. Can that just stop happening, please? Right, we're basically ready. Just need to get my needles out, put a cover on the bed. Right, I've set up as if it's the right forearm, but I can't actually remember. I didn't even write it down. I'm in such a bad habit of not writing down what forearm or what leg I need to make the design for. Not sure why. Alright, needles. What do we got here? Do I need that one? Why not? I might need to order some more. Bloody hell. I literally just ordered. Alright, what do we got? Now I think... Oh, I need a better system. Over Christmas I'm going to sort this out. Or I'm going to get Jodie to come sort it out. Bosh. And now we wait. cool. Won't be a sec. Twice I missed. Fucking hell. I'm actually out. Terrible. Alright, I think it's going to be this one. Let's have a little look. I think that looks good, to be honest. As soon as I peeled this stencil off, I could see straight away, firstly, that the sunflower is bang on, looks great. But this leaf in the bottom left corner, I think it's just a bit too big. Because the forearm gets narrower the closer you get to the wrist, it was just wrapping around too much. So even though in the design it wasn't sticking out past the edge of the petals on the sunflower, because higher up on the forearm where the sunflower is, it just sits a little bit better. So I went back into the design after rubbing it off and changed the size of the leaf. So now I'm just going into my stencil layer to match the size of the stencil to my adjusted design. And then I have to match this new stencil to the same size as the old stencil that I printed off and reprint. I'm just removing some of the petal there because I'm going to cut that bit. Unfortunately as well, I didn't have any A4 paper, so I'm literally using A3 paper just for this one tiny leaf. It's such a waste, but it is what it is. We've got to get it perfect. That's important, but 90p down the drain for anyone who cares. Anyway, just very carefully re-sticking the leaf without smudging the rest of the stencil, and I think this time round it looks so much better. I am pretty good, not gonna lie, at lining that up. Look at that, that's perfect. That's better.
Yeah.
That is way better. Flowers might be up there with one of my most favourite things to tattoo, to be honest. Especially in quite feminine designs like this with the watercolor and the splashes of pink and blue, everything like that. I just love it. It's always makes a really chill day. You know, there's not a huge amount of pressure to make the tattoo exactly like the design. Whereas if you're doing a portrait, especially a family member portrait or a celebrity portrait, something like that, you know, you gotta study that reference and make it absolutely perfect, because you're trying to let everyone know exactly what you're doing. But with a sunflower, like, you know, you can just get into the flow of things. Once you've done a few petals, all the petals are quite similar to the petal you just did before, so you can kind of just glance over at your reference every now and then, but for the most part just get stuck in and be left to create a piece of art the way that you would if you were drawing, right? You know, it's a sunflower is still going to look like a sunflower if you make some minor changes as you're going, kind of thing. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to admit that I'm not copying my design perfectly, but I guess I am by saying what I'm saying. All I'm really saying is that tattooing flowers feels like more of a relaxed day. That's what I'm saying. It's always good fun, and doing these small tattoos as well, like done and dusted in one day, as far as I'm concerned, that's a small tattoo. It's not like the big 2-3 days that I'm usually doing, which is great, but it's nice to have something finished by the end of the day. Some of you people might be thinking, Josh, is still not a small tattoo, it's like almost a whole forearm. Well, I would say it's a small tattoo. Less than 8 hours. That's a pretty small tattoo. So when I build my flower tattoos, I do them quite similar to when I make birds, like I did in the Kingfisher last week. I pretty much start with the outline first. I mean, some of you guys would know quite cleverly with a trained eye that I always do the outline first anyway, no matter what I do, but sometimes it's a little more subtle when I'm working on a face. You don't really see the outlines, not really. But flowers like this, I pretty much go through the whole thing first and outline in the colour of what I'm doing, not like a black outline or anything. I'm still going for realism, and then I'll start shading in, colouring in afterwards, staying in between the lines. So yeah, if you're getting a tattoo from me and you're sitting there for 3 hours and you're looking down and you're thinking, why the hell have I been in pain for 3 hours and he's hardly done anything? Well, suddenly it all starts coming in place right about now when we get the big boys out and start colouring in and getting in the proper tones. It starts coming to life towards that second half of the day. But just got to spend the time, you know, getting the structure in there first. It's quite interesting. The centre of a sunflower is a bit of a cross-eye thing. It's got that spiral from the centre. It sort of spirals outwards, which is always a little bit of a challenge, but looks great when pulled off. So yeah, quite enjoyable. I actually think I enjoy the centre of a sunflower more than the centre of a lot of other flowers. But then the petals, I probably prefer doing the petals of like a rose or maybe like a tulip, you know, a bit bigger petals individually. But yeah, the centre of a sunflower is great. quite interestingly, when doing a sunflower, I actually try to use the least amount of yellow possible to make it look realistic. Now, you would think, yes, the sunflower is a yellow flower as a whole, like you would describe it yellow, but in reality, you don't want to be relying on using too much yellow when tattooing, because it's such a pale color and you're not going to have a lot of contrast. It's going to be difficult for it to have that 3D look, and then also it's not going to last a very long time in the skin, like many years, without other colors next to it to help with the contrast. So I pretty much just focus on the dark shadows like brown, orange, reds, and also like muted yellows. When I mix yellow with purple, you would have seen me doing that when I was mixing my color palette earlier. I try and get as much of those colors in there as possible, and then just add like 20% yellow and then like the tiny little white highlights, and that gives it the pop, in my opinion, is what makes it look 3D. But yeah, that's just something I've learned over the years. Like in the beginning tattooing, I used to I think yellow sunflower, cool, right, yellow, as much yellow as possible, but yeah, doesn't really work like that. Another thing as well about doing these watercolor backgrounds that I love so much, especially when tattooing women, because obviously it's quite feminine, is it just makes the tattoo look complete. Like when I'm doing a sleeve, as much as like the sleeve looks finished when it's finished, but each part of the arm, like top of the arm, lower arm, whatever, even though the piece we've done is basically finished, because it doesn't have a background or anything like that yet until I've done the bit next to it, it's kind of one of them things where it's like it's almost perfect. But doing these one-offs with like a splash of colour in the background, it just sort of frames it, and you've just got like a tattoo which is framed, and I just love that. Everything needs a frame. If you bought a nice painting for your home, you would want it with a frame, because it just complements what's inside. And yeah, that's what I like doing these backgrounds. So yeah, because my client didn't actually ask for a background, but when I was explaining to her that a sunflower is such a brightly coloured tattoo and there's lots of yellow, it can get lost, and having a contrasting colour in the background like blue is just going to help it stand out even more. So when I showed her with and without the background, like she understood. She was like, oh, I see what you mean, yeah. It makes the yellow look more yellow when it's next to a different colour. And yeah, just framing the tattoos, I think that's really important in realism. Well, that was another good, chill, single day session. Turned out to be quite a big day, to be fair. It's gone 6 o'clock now. But, nonetheless, it was a good day. Sunflowers, my days. How many petals does a sunflower need? I think we should start a petition that sunflowers do not need that many petals. It is outrageous. If anyone asks me for a sunflower tattoo within the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be emotionally scarred. And I'm just going to have to say no, put you on a waiting list. Roses, man. Roses are just nice and chill. What other flowers? Tulips, you know. Things with not as many petals. Big day. But yeah, I'm happy with how it came out. She sat really well. It looks great. And that's all I have to say. Christmas has probably been... We are the last couple tattoos before Christmas in terms of when it is right now. But I've got so many videos that I've filmed and I'm still in the process of editing and getting out. So I hope everyone had a great Christmas. That's all I have to say. So no special raffle, nothing for me to tell you about other than if you're interested in booking a tattoo for yourself, link in the description to my website. There's a contact form in there. Fill it out, schedule a consultation and make an appointment. If you're watching on TV, you can scan. But that's it. Hope you like this one. Goodbye.